And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Wanna be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow
quality entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost him with some sats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local cloud.
Friends and enemies, welcome back to the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast. My name is Joey. That's Len. We got a great show for you tonight. Tons to talk about in the Bitcoin and economic space. Len, the CFL is eliminating the Rouge as we know it. Did you hear about this today?
No.
2 years of significant rule changes. They will be curved in between next season and the 27 season, including no longer awarding points for missed field goals or punts that go out of the end zone. They must land in the end zone so the returner has a chance. Among the other rules being changed, 15-yard end zones instead of 20.
Wow.
Shortening the field as well from 110 yards to 100 yards.
Wow. They're going NFL?
Yeah.
Are they also making it
everything except the downs so far? I read about an hour ago that the CIS, the college kids here in Canada, are they're questioning now what they should do with their fields. So universities will have to reformat their fields as well, given that that really is the pipeline for the CFL. So interesting times, man. Pretty crazy. Is that an elbows up failure? I feel like it might be. We change our game. We change our only unique game to the American way, basically.
I can't even name the league, the teams in the league.
Well, they change the names all the time. From like the Edmonton Eskimos were a team. They decided that was offensive. So
yeah, what is it? Elks or something?
Elks. That's right. Yeah. So
is there still a team in Ottawa?
There is the Red Blacks. Yeah.
Red Black. Okay.
Yeah. Saskatchewan is still the Rough Riders. Hamilton's still the Ticats. Argos. Stampeders in Calgary. British Columbia has a team. What are they called? The Lions. Alouettes, and that's it, I think. Right? Am I missing anyone there?
I don't know. Hamilton? Did you mention Hamilton? Or?
Yeah, Ticats. Of course, I mentioned Hamilton. Come on, it's a staple.
I don't know. I haven't watched a game in forever, and I probably won't take forever to watch another game. I really do not care. The Rouge, whatever. They can make it worth 10 points, half a point, 1 point, 0 points. It don't matter to me.
Yeah.
There's bigger fish to fry than watching people get 1 point. For a fucking football game.
The CFL is crazy. I was out with friends of ours from work one time at an Oktoberfest party in Waterloo. This was like, God, it must have been like 12 years ago-ish. And at the bar, we were going to this club, Beta. Great club, by the way. It closed down a number of years ago, but like true rave style club. And we were getting ready to leave. And I was saying to our buddy, I won't mention his last name, but Max. And Max and I and a couple other people are there. And I said to him, and he said to me, he's like, this game is like Ticats and Argos or something. And I was like, this game looks like it's over. But Max said the same thing. You never know what happens in the CFL, the crazy football league. It was like 22-3 or something like that with like 8 minutes to go. And Ticats ended up winning on a Rouge. So you're going to miss those days. It's kind of, It's a Canadian cultural thing, the Rouge, like South Park has talked about it. And I don't want to see the CFL go the way of the NFL. I don't watch much CFL either. And I get the feeling that they're making these changes because I'm not the only one who's not watching much CFL, but all the same, disappointing.
Nobody's watching. Is it true that it's sports in general? Less people are watching it. It's just everything is there's a decline or no? Or are they?
I don't know. I'm not sure. NFL is doing great numbers. I know that. NBA, the TV contracts are as big as ever, matching the salary cap spikes. But NFL I don't know about the other sports.
Like, is that a result of them playing every fucking day rather than just only Sunday and that one special game on Monday? Is it
So we talked about this a little while ago on Access of Easy that. This is obviously not a cybersecurity or Bitcoin story, but since we're talking about it, the NFL dominates Sundays. The NFL is just like Jesus Christ and football on Sundays. That's what they want to see. And they've so far competed pretty well with the Almighty Father. The issue that I think a lot of other sports leagues have had over the last few years is that the NFL is saying we actually have the best product and we have the most loyal fan base, and we are true appointment viewing for people thanks to gambling and fantasy and all this stuff. So let's start getting on the corner of other sporting leagues. And they've done that. So it started with Monday Night Football years and years ago. Then Thursday Night Football about 10 or 12 years ago. Actually longer than that, probably close to 20 years ago now.
90s.
Yeah. Yeah. Thursday night was not 90s. It was in the 2000s.
I thought they started in the late 90s.
No, 2000s for sure. And then they added the Christmas Day games last year, competing directly with the NBA's marquee product. The only institution they haven't tried to compete with yet is college football. There's hardly any games on Saturdays. And when college football is in its playoff, they actually stop their Saturday offerings because they do have Saturday offerings late in the season, but they don't have them when college football is running their playoff. But we'll see. I mean, they have obviously they smell blood in the water, I think, as many, probably as many different sports leagues have in the past, and they're the top of the food chain right now. So we'll see. Anyway, we'll
do all the sponsors. I gotta grab something. Do even the bull. I'll be back.
I'll do them all. So sponsorships is always EasyDNS, lead sponsor, best place for you to get a domain, port a domain, buy a domain, whatever. Mark is your guy. He's your friendly neighborhood registrar. There's a reason we use EasyDNS. It may not be the reason you use EasyDNS. The best thing about EasyDNS is that there's many reasons to hop over there, many reasons to patronize them. Among them, obviously, easy mail and domain share for a couple extra bucks, extra security. There's a story every day about mailing lists being hacked, data being stolen. Data is the new oil. Everyone knows this stuff. And you're only as strong as your weakest overseas Indian tech support guy who can be socially engineered. Not the case at EasyDNS. Not going to have that problem. Don't forget, too, that if you're a Bitcoiner, you can use some of their virtual private server options to tickle your fancy. So you can run a Bitcoin node, Nostr Relay if you want. Len and I think are actually verified through EasyDNS's Nostr Relay at CanadianBitcoiners.com. And then there's obviously other reasons as well. Mark will never nuke your website for the political feelings of the day. He takes Bitcoin and was a Bitcoin treasury company long before it was cool. So we like that about him. You will too. Go to EasyDNS.com, use the promo code CBP Media, and you get half off your first round of buys, which is sick. Second sponsor is Bull Bitcoin. What is there to say about Bull Bitcoin? Extremists in both official languages in the best way, okay? None of these guys will be invited to Parliament Hill anytime soon. I know I just saw a picture of some of the Shake Pay guys. As much as I appreciate that they're doing some policy work, Parliament Hill probably not in the cards for any of the Bull Bitcoin guys anytime soon, which is just fine with me and probably just fine with Len. Why should you use them? Non-custodial. This is the key thing, okay? When you buy on Bull Bitcoin, you can deposit with e-transfer, with cash at a post office if you really want to. You still have to show ID, unfortunately, but you can do that among other options. EFT. When you buy, it goes to your wallet. It's not going to the exchange. It's not held. It's not shotgun KYC when you want to withdraw it. None of that. We don't do that over at Bull. Here's what we do. We give the wallet address for a wallet we own the keys for. They send the Bitcoin to you. That's it. Done and done. You can pay your bills there with the bills platform, among other things. Go there, do a limit order, do whatever you want. They got lots of options and a brand new interface that looks sharp, like you should when you go to church on Sundays, in keeping with the religious theme from earlier. Go to the website, bullbitcoin.com. Use the promo code CBP. You get 25% off your fees, which is huge for life. Can't beat that. And then obviously, we're less than a month away, friends, from the Bitcoin Conference 2025 in Montreal, the Rialto Theater. Nice venue. It's like rustic, charming, modern, and welcoming all at the same time. Can't beat it. There's tons of stuff going on. The agenda was recently released. I'll be on stage more times than I volunteered for. I think I'll also be the MC. And you get a chance to meet me, talk to me, and a bunch of other people who are going to be at the conference as well. I don't think we have a promo code. If we do, I don't know what it is, but it's a conference that I support. And I know Len has, we've talked about it in the past. It's one of the better conferences. I view it as the only option if you're a Canadian. I'm not traveling to Nashville or Vegas for the Bitcoin conference. It's not really my jam. I also have a little one now. So I'm much more aligned with the stuff that Dan and Manuela and the team at the Canadian Bitcoin Conference are doing. And I think you guys will be too. So go there on October 16th through 18th and have some fun with the Bitcoiners. Play with your Bitcoin in Montreal, en français. Okay, buddy, boosts, what do you think?
Yeah. Let's take care of that. So we have top 5 boosts of the week. That's what I'm doing, just for people who are wondering. We have 513 from from Wedge. It says great episode here. He said V-Rod should talk about Damas to lend a legend and give Will a night off. So this is talking about Will is
Catherine,
the guy
yeah.
so like this is all Nostra talk. So yeah, I'd love to chat with them and talk a lot about Nostra and the clients too. I know you're getting a little more active over there. I could see you're chatting it up a little bit more than in the past. So good to see
I mean, I send a few things here and there, but I'm still not really a frequent user. I wouldn't call myself a power user. I did switch back to an iPhone the last few days. So I will be using my brand new orange Monster to do a little nostering. I don't know what I'm going to do. Everyone's starting to vlog. I should start a vlog on Nostra like everybody else and just talk, since that's something I enjoy doing. But we'll see. Wedge, good to hear from you all the same, buddy. Thanks for the boost.
So we have this deal. Doug 525. He writes in 525 sats. He says, "Thank you, Len, for saying analogy rather than analog. You could teach a lot of podcasters a thing or two. Do people mistake the two, analog and analogy?
Well, you can give an analog for something, but maybe that's a misuse of the word. I've heard that before. I personally am an analogy guy as well. I don't say that here's an analog for this, but maybe other people do. I'm not sure."
Jer 1000 sats, and this is a funny one. He says, "Nothing to say this week other than I appreciate you both."
Thanks, Jer. Great.
I like that. Okay. Doom Satoshi 1521 sats. He says, "CBP meets Bugle's guys." Very nice. Love it. Thank you for your time to all of you.
Anytime. Sure. Don't mention it. What do you say to that? No problem.
Thank you. No, it looks like he likes us. I mean, I wasn't part of that, so he'd like the discussion between you and the two dudes there. So, Bobo Tummy 2024 sats, and he writes in, "Bring back the pie in the face."
Wonder who that's referring to. Yeah. But
Bill Gates got it. Gretchen got it.
Few people have gotten it over the years. Yeah, it's a wake up
call.
And
the beautiful thing about that, it's humiliating, but nobody gets hurt from that, right? Like that's the way to do it. If you're gonna do something, like there's nobody gets hurt. Hopefully, there's no eyes lost from the pie as a result of that, right? But you know what I mean,
lost,
right?
What are you putting in your pie?
Pennies? I have no idea. But you know what I'm getting at. Like that's the best way to do it. Like throw a shoe. Do a pie to the face, stuff like that. I don't recommend doing those things, but if you're gonna do something, those are way better than a bullet to the head.
It's been too long since we saw a good non-violent political act. But anyway, so we got some housekeeping here. Last week we had no one. This week, did we have no one last week? We had no one last week.
Right, nobody. Yeah.
This week, I'll be talking to Dr. Brian Day and Dr. Mohammed Zarabian. Brian Day is a retired orthopedic surgeon, or semi-retired orthopedic surgeon who's been pushing for private option healthcare in Canada. Mohammed Zarabian is a guy who's doing surgeries out of McMaster, and actually just messaged me saying he wrapped up the first private spine fusion in Ontario today. So you got two guys who are top of their field and want to help as many people as possible and want to do it outside of the bureaucracy of the system. And both of them have had similar experiences with hurdles and hoops and whatnot. And we're going to talk about some of those hurdles and hoops and what seems to be just a torrent of people, a never-ending torrent of people saying that two-tier healthcare is not an option. You guys know how I feel about this. I think two-tier already exists in Canada, and if you don't realize it, then you're on the bottom tier. We'll hear what these two gentlemen have to say. They're much closer to the story than I am. And then Friday this week, Mark is coming to visit, so we will record something, and I'll probably put that out next Wednesday so that we have some content to release that day. So nothing live, but there will be video and audio coming down the pipe next Wednesday night. And it'll be Mr. Jetovic and myself just chopping it up in the basement studio that Len is yet to visit. You're more than welcome to come to that, by the way, if you want to make an appearance. We have plenty of mics here and plenty of room.
I'm at the golf course this Friday. Second time in a week. And you know what? I didn't play for 2 months. Last time I played was middle of July, and I took 2 months off just because of circumstances. You know, my wife's mom cracked her hip,
Ah.
and then one of my golfing buddies hurt his back, his shoulder blade specifically. So it was just a series of events. So yeah, so I finally got to play again last week, which was amazing, and I'm playing again hopefully Friday.
Tough.
As long as it don't rain, we'll see what happens. Anyways,
So we're looking forward to all that. And then after that, it's pretty much one more week till the conference. I'll be on Mike Campbell's show on October 29th, I think. So whatever week that is. And I'm looking forward to talking to him, obviously. Was it September 29th or October 29th? I forget. I got to check my calendar. But in any case, looking forward to speaking with him and his team. There's an announcement coming on that show, by the way. You'll want to tune in for that one. But that's all I got for housekeeping. So we're about 16 minutes in, wasted a bunch of people's time. Thanks for sticking around. Where do you want to start, buddy?
Talk about Trade Ogre. We talked about Trade Ogre before. It just like it was in passing in the previous show. And allegedly, we know somebody who may have used it. I'm not going to go much further into
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Manny Monero?
Manny. Yeah.
Oh,
for
wow.
sure.
Really? Okay,
This
I
is
didn't know
years ago, though. So like this is.
He was just at my house a couple weeks ago with his wife and daughter.
Yeah. So if he came by after this happened, maybe he's wondering what's that. Well, you know what? When I spoke to him, he said it's been a long time since he used it.
Okay.
So he's probably A-okay. It's a shitcoin exchange, and it's a no KYC exchange at that. You just sign up with a quote unquote email address. So make that for what you want. And people who left anything on an exchange, it wasn't a non-custodial exchange like Bull Bitcoin, where it's the only place. It's right. It's the only thing you could do. You got to provide an address to facilitate the buy. You could buy stuff and leave it on there, and people have done that, and they got rugged. They got rugged. Why? Because the Canadian police, the RCMP, they just completed the largest cryptocurrency seizure in Canadian history. And it was estimated at the time this took place, it was sometime last week, $56 million in value was on the exchange at the time. I presume that's Canadian dollars, but either way, Canadian USD, it's still a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
And the RCMP, this is straight from their website, their press release. It says that the money laundering investigative team opened a file in June 2024. So last year, so almost a year and a half, year and a quarter. And this was following a tip by Europol. Europol was the one that was saying something has to be done with this exchange. And they're saying that the exchange did not conform with Canadian regulations nor with Canadian laws. And a lot of exchanges in Canada, in order to do business, they got to jump through hoops and shit like that. They didn't register with FinTrack as a money services business. And they did not identify its clients because, well, it was KYC free. So they say investigators have reason to believe that the majority of funds transacted on Trade Ogre came from criminal sources. Why the people running Trade Ogre were operating it within Canada, I have no idea. If you're going to do something like this, it makes sense, hypothetically, to do this somewhere else where you're outside the laws. And you're not subject to Canadian laws. Either way, a lot of people were upset what happened because a lot of shitcoiners that were Trade Ogre users were upset because they had shit on their exchange, likely shitcoins, even some Bitcoin on there too, and it was seized. It's taken away from them, gone. And they're posting all the anger, all on X. They're just going and just saying the Canadian government, the RCMP, they just overstepped their boundaries. And police say, this is very interesting. Police say the owner of Trade Ogre was in the US, no name, but he's now dead. Maybe he died from Crohn's like Gerald Cotton. Yeah. I do not know, but I could not find a name. But they were saying that he passed away in the US, so no charges are going to be laid to the owner because he's no longer with us. Interesting stuff. I find this is it looks like the Canadian government and Europol, they're getting more active with respect to this stuff. Again, I don't know why they operated within the on Canadian soil, at least the digital side of Canadian soil, but they did it. They're paying the price, and their users are paying the price. Don't fucking shitcoin, man.
Trade Ogre. Trade Ogre's been around a long time, right?
I think so, because remember our coin, long time.
No.
Oh, okay. So that's when allegedly Manny would be using it because R did a pump. Yeah, this was like 5 years ago or so, and the Trade Ogre was the place to buy it from. So yeah, it's been around for a few years. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
so the reason I
I
ask,
don't know.
well, the reason I ask is because there was a time when if you were a Canadian Bitcoiner or Canadian crypto enthusiast, it was hard to use American exchanges, right? And one of the reasons that Canada became a favorite for a lot of people, whether it was Quadriga or others, is because not because there was like favorable legislation necessarily, but what there was an inability of law enforcement to really clamp down on any of these products. So maybe Trade Ogre is a relic of that, but obviously in the last 5 years, especially the last 5 years, the interest, capability, and political will related to clamping down on crypto exchanges has ripped to the upside. And so naturally, yeah, they get this guy. The most interesting part of the story, though, is that he's dead. Is it not? Is that not the most interesting? Like how is it you know enough about the guy, presumably, that you raid his exchange and want to capture him, but don't know that he's deceased? Is that like the vibe I'm getting from the story, that when they went to execute probably the wrong word, when they went to carry out the final bit of their investigation, which presumably would have included capturing this guy, that he was already passed away?
Well, let's look at it from a different point of view. What if it wasn't an individual that passed away? Maybe it was an agency that set up this organization, this as a way to capture people.
Huh. Okay.
Right? Potentially, like, we don't know.
Interesting.
They're not naming the guy's name.
Yeah.
They're saying very little about the owner that's deceased, which kind of is suspicious to me. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I don't know what the hell's going on. But I think that the one thing is, it shows that the Canadian government is going to be looking at this moving forward.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And people need to be aware, if you are trading garbage, like even trading Bitcoin in and out into something like Bitcoin to USDT or USD, US,
any of those stables, any of those stables,
and then coming back in, just trading, like, you're asking for problems. If they ever find out, CRA finds out you have been trading and you've never reported it.
Yep.
Like, this is an example. They're going to come in and swoop in and just take everything you've got without even thinking twice. Now, do they have the manpower to do this? I think that's more of an irrelevant thing. I just want to point out that they mean business. Whenever they want to get down to something and tackle a problem, they'll fucking do it. The same way they're doing with the ostriches. Like, they'll mobilize the people to get things done, and they'll fucking
R.I.P. those long neck beauties.
Are they gone?
I saw online about an hour ago, there was video of the RCMP at the doorstep there talking to the woman who owned the farm, and she was pleading with the police to let her at least finish feeding the birds before they called them all.
Give them one last final meal.
It just sucks. Like, that's a story that's probably not in the notes for tonight, but
no, it ain't. It's
just like what is the point of that? They don't have, this is okay. We're done with Trade Ogre. This woman in Alberta, I don't know this story, but I saw it today for the first time. I am like a big time animal lover. I have a dog. I think anyone who has a dog or a cat or whatever, there's only one speed once you have a pet, and it's animal lover. And so stories like this they're heart wrenching, to say the least. It's like this idea that this woman has a farm full of ostriches, and like the RCMP has decided that it is worth their resources to make sure that, because one of them had bird flu last year and passed away, while the rest of them are immune, never caught the flu and seem to be immune to it, even though the RCMP won't allow any testing or won't allow any medical review. That's not done by them, of course. That the rest of the birds have to be killed. 400 ostriches. Like, what is the point of that? How much we talk on this show every week about something dumb that's happened in, crime and larceny, and that there's no resources for. You have people in the police force going on TV and saying to leave your keys by the front door, surrender to intruders, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, there's, a police operation at some level, whether it's provincial or federal, I have no idea, cutting the power to farms before raiding them to kill ostriches that are healthy. That is a mix up of priorities, in my opinion. And I don't know the full story. I readily admit that. I'm giving you what seems to be the most complete version of events. But to me, it's like, even if that's only half true, it's still enough to raise an eyebrow.
I will follow this once it's reported by Rachel Gilmore.
Did you see her on TV today?
I know you guys were chatting about it.
She had a healthy summer. I gotta grab the baby monitor. Hold on.
All right, here we go. So we could just move on and talk. I wanted to talk about Mayor Ken Sim, but I'll wait for Joey to come back before I do. I will just point out that Bull Bitcoin, now there is a new option for them, a new development on their that front. And with Bull Bitcoin now, you're able to do limit orders. This is a brand new feature that came out this past week, and it's the world's first self-custodian exchange that offers limit orders. So you can now buy or sell, I guess, at specific prices is now possible. And so you're just able to do it based on percentage of the current price. So just another option for Bull Bitcoin users out there, especially for people that want to deal with these non-custodial exchanges. Not sure if you have anything to add to that, Joey. I probably don't think so. I saved this at the perfect time.
I wrote it in the ad read today just because it's noteworthy that these guys are adding services that people actually want. They're not,
only in the buy side for the moment.
Whatever. But you know what they're not doing? They're not worried about how many shares are outstanding. They're not doing quarterly reporting to markets and talking about stuff that's not directly related to the Bitcoin mission. These guys
are not selling to Vivek.
They're not. They're not selling to Vivek. No, they're not.
What a fucking scam that's turning out to be, right?
I know.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
We can talk about. Do you want to talk about that? We can talk about that if you want.
I have really nothing to add about that.
So there's Vivek and some conglomerate.
I butchered his name. Then
they bought. Saylor Scientific was purchased today. Saylor Scientific was purchased today, and the plan for Vivek's, conglomerate, Vivek, whatever his name is to wind down the Saylor business. Did you know that?
Which is funny because
wind down the business.
It was, and I talked about this in the past that this is a company that at least offers a product that is also this. So it's making my argument for it is now gone. If they're gonna do, whatever, right?
Well, the thing I said to Mark today, and we'll probably talk about this more on Friday when he comes down. The thing that the treasury heads don't get is that while they're obsessing about once MSTR makes it onto the S&P 500 and the passive flows start and the capital income, the capital inflows start to really accelerate, this is going to become the new meta. Everyone's going to know that Bitcoin treasuries are the new meta. And this is what you need to do as a company to be successful. This is where things are going. It's where the puck is headed, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, what I think they don't get or are missing or are undervaluing or under-indexing for is that once MSTR is on the S&P 500, all those other little companies, Saylor, Metaplanet, whatever, they're all dead. They're probably dead already, to be honest with you, but they're dead for sure once MSTR hits the S&P, because they will outpace every other treasury company even more than they already are. And those little companies will just die off unless, Len, what? Unless they have an underlying business. And Saylor had one. They're selling medical equipment or something of that nature. And now the plan is to unwind it and just acquire Bitcoin. I cannot stress enough that people who are leaving their jobs to work at these companies that are going all in on early investments, I think this is, unless you're in MSTR, I think it's a mistake. And even MSTR is carrying more risk than normal, I believe. So to me, it's it's a misallocation of, it's a misweighting, honestly, of what's important in a stock ticker. It's not just the Bitcoin yield. No one cares about that. It's a fake number. You need a business. And MSTR, is their business the key thing? It's not anymore, but they're doing some innovative stuff with treasuries, with bonds and debt and different capital structures. But even then, is that a business? I mean, time will tell. But if it is, it doesn't mean these other companies are going to be successful. It means MSTR is going to be successful. And if it isn't, then these other companies are going to fail and MSTR is going to fail. I don't understand where the enthusiasm for these penny stocks came from. And you're seeing that, by the way, in the price action on these stocks. That's undeniable at this point.
What is Bitcoin yield when we're talking about?
It's Bitcoin per share. It's Bitcoin per share. They call it Bitcoin per share.
Bitcoin per share.
Yeah. So I've talked about this before, that I think it's a nonsense I went on Ben's show and talked about this like 2 months ago or something. And we were talking, and Jeff Walton was on too. And we were talking about this Bitcoin per share thing. I don't get it. I don't get it because it's not anything you can actually withdraw. It's unrelated to the price of the stock. Like the market does not respond to Bitcoin per share. And to call it a yield is unfair because there's no distribution. You don't get any of that Bitcoin. You don't get any dividend or revenue from this in Bitcoin terms or based on the Bitcoin or like it's all just nonsense. It's nonsense. And you can say whatever you want about this, but at the end of the day, you're basically bleeding two places, right? You're bleeding because there's slippage in the price of the underlying equity, right? MSTR is down over the last 3 months, even though their Bitcoin per share is up. So not only are you buying MSTR that's decreasing in value, you're not buying Bitcoin. Yeah, but you're not buying but you don't own any Bitcoin. You're not buying it. You're not buying those dips. You're buying MSTR instead.
Price in Bitcoin is down in the last 3 months too.
Yeah,
slightly.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, but you gotta like. I don't know. I have no idea how much Bitcoin. MSTR
I wanted to record a quick current on this, but
it's Lake. Who the heck said it? Francis, I think, was doing to coin this term, this lakefront capital thing. Have you seen this?
Invest in my lakefront capital so I can buy more lakefront properties. You know, your lakefront yield. It's like it's obviously bullshit. My opinion.
No,
but
Predator he posted something recently.
Yeah,
and is with respect to. I never knew what pipe meant until 2 weeks ago, and I started learning about it. That. With respect to Nakamoto or what the fuck it is, Kindly MD, Kindly. Semler ended up with more shares in Naka than he did with his own company.
Do you know? Okay, so this is a strategy you see thrown around. Sorry to cut you off, but this is another thing we should talk about. This is a strategy you see thrown around in the biggest MSTR group on Twitter, the 80 IQ Mindset MSTR Bulls, and the thing that I would, or irresponsibly long MSTR, 80 IQ Mindset, I think is one of their admins. I forget now. It's like a jumbling of visual cues I've seen on my phone. The idea that Bitcoin treasury companies should just be buying each other to run the price up and buy more Bitcoin. Like, does no one over there think that's a bad idea? No one in this group of people who is ahead of the curve and telling me I don't understand Bitcoin yield. These same people are telling me these companies should all just buy each other. What are we talking about?
Let them do it. Now, I think when it was reported that Semler, the CEO, had more shares in Naka or Kindly, what the fuck it is, versus the company that's named after him, or
Predator put out the entire list of like basically the early investors.
Adam Back's on it, but that was probably the red flag for Semler Scientific when he had more capital associated or allocated towards a different company.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, we should have said that, wow, like, is he going to just get rid of Semler? Well,
that's like if I found out that you had more shares in Simply Bitcoin than CBP, like it'd be a sign.
I'm not going to disclose my holdings. This is going to remain hidden.
You're Simply Bitcoin shares.
I'm simply rich as a result of all this. You know what? The companies that do have Bitcoin, and I was thinking about this sometime this weekend. I was busy this weekend too. They say name a company at whatever the fuck it is, but say they have an X amount of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and the NAV is below that. Like their Bitcoin's worth 100 million, and the company's worth 85. Doesn't it make more sense for MSTR just to simply buy up that company because they're going to be able to get Bitcoin at a cheaper price, as long as there's no other problems with the company? Its books are fine. Like there's nothing like that.
And you just turn it into a Semler, destroy the business and take the Bitcoin.
Isn't that more fiscally responsible for MSTR because they have the ability to gather capital?
Well, this is what happened today with Vivek, right? Like they did an no cash transaction. It was shares, right? So I need to know the details. Like I got to look at Punter's timeline, but to me, it's just like, the more you do this, the more likely you are to find yourself in a position where you have, where it's, it's like there's too many fault lines that again, like are just not top of mind and not on anyone's radar when the price is 110. But if we drop to 90, MSTR is going to be fine. MSTR has got so much capital that it's not going to matter for them, but it's going to matter for like Semler, Metaplanet, these companies that are basically zombies, right? That just bought Bitcoin and rode the Twitter high and tried to capitalize on people wanting to make a quick buck. For whatever reason, Bitcoiners seem to think that shitcoining is bad, but buying treasury companies that are penny stocks is good or responsible or moral. And I just don't see it. I don't see how one is worse than the other.
They're equally as bad.
Yeah, I think so too.
If you're simply talking about Bitcoin, neither of those two, buying a share in a company or purchasing a shitcoin, is anything but. You can't take ownership of it the same way you can with Bitcoin. You can't verify it the same way you can with Bitcoin. There's all those fundamentals that make Bitcoin that people want to get it doesn't exist with those other things. So if anybody's saying that this is like Bitcoin, no, man, it's just the price may be kind of associated with it. That's the best you could say. But in the end, you're still operating within the walls of the fiat garden. And ultimately, if you want to get access to all that capital, you got to pull it out of your bank. And for the time being, it works fine. There's no resistance for that, I think. But moving forward, I can't guarantee that. And I hope everybody that's playing in this game gets access to the capital that they have in the markets. And if not, it's a good learning experience. Buy more Bitcoin. At least you should have bought more Bitcoin.
It's a good learning experience the hard way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I look at that. It's just it's total nonsense.
Full disclosure, like I own some MSTR, and Len and I have had this conversation before about how I still think I need my TFSA for some fiat expenses, and there's no better place to grow money basically for free while the currency deflates to nothing than some of these companies. But Len is correct in every other assessment there that it's not Bitcoin. It's just not, and it's never gonna be. Saylor is never gonna pay you out any of his Bitcoin yield, And by the way, Mike was on Brunel's podcast again. Since it seems like he's only got eyes for Natalie these days.
Mike Saylor?
Yeah, Saylor, yeah.
Okay.
Was on Natalie's podcast. I was listening to it on the weekend. Of course. Why is he going on podcast, Len? A new narrative to spin for some nod along clown who won't challenge him on anything and just fucking smiles and nods. The new narrative. We need Bitcoin to be very low utility because anything that's high utility is a bad store of value. Gold is the best store of value because it's very low utility. Silver is worse because it's higher utility. Copper is even better because it's higher utility, but it's terrible store of value. He's talking about transactions, or means of exchange. I'm honestly sick of this guy. I'm sick of him. And also, I watched that unconference keynote he gave. His hands are very small. I got a problem with guys with like disproportionately small hands. There's something
you know what
to
they
that.
say about people with small hands, right?
Yeah, he's got a fucking small security suite.
No, they wear small gloves.
Well, I wouldn't know that, but it's just like
you're not going to wear big gloves if you're.
I just don't know how many more times we have to see something from this guy. And I realize that probably most Bitcoiners are either new and think it's cool that he's talking about it and need something to tell their friends at a party to sound smart because they're otherwise retarded. Fine. And then there's other Bitcoiners who are like of our vintage who look at this guy and like just don't care. They have enough Bitcoin. They don't give a shit what this guy says. But I care about this because I think he's the voice of Bitcoin to traditional finance. And I want traditional finance to get on board, with the right things in mind. And he's got the wrong things in mind, this guy. Like, why can't it be a medium of exchange and a store of value? The reason that some of these other ones don't serve both functions is because they're material, they're physical material, and physical material has demands and trade-offs. Bitcoin doesn't need to have those same trade-offs. Why is a guy who says that Bitcoin is digital Manhattan unable to realize that digital Manhattan doesn't have the same constraints as real life Manhattan? He's picking and choosing these ideas. He's inconsistent intellectually, and I think he's doing it on purpose. And I don't want him to keep going on these fucking shows. And I need somebody, Natalie, Lavera, said Yeoman, whoever, push back on this guy. Ask him why he's inconsistent between these two. These are obvious inconsistencies. And no one asked him.
The people you mentioned, Natalie and Lavera and whoever else you mentioned.
I like Cedric. I wouldn't put Cedric in the same boat as Natalie and Lavera. Okay. I know Cedric, and he's a great interviewer, and he's gotten a lot of flowers on this show from me and from the comments over the years. And I just think Saylor is a steamroller. And he
those other two, they have at least one of them has a vested interest in these Bitcoin treasury companies. Am I correct?
Lavera for sure.
Oh, I was at the other one.
Lavera does for sure. Lavera has been talking on his podcast. I haven't listened in a few weeks, but he's invested in one too. It's everybody.
Then you're never
it's like,
gonna get.
It's like anyone who says they have an announcement coming up is fucking launching a treasury company. I'm thinking to myself, like, what do you guys think is going to happen here?
Do you think they're going to go out there and grill Michael Saylor?
I don't know.
Because if they have a vested interest for him and the company which they invested in to do well, they're not going to go up there and say, I mean, prove me wrong, but you know what? I'm looking at. They wouldn't do that. It's not in their best interest.
I hope you're right
to do that.
I hope you're right, but honestly, I don't like. We need someone to do it because the clicks, just for the people who are only caring about plays, okay? The clicks you would get for pushing back on this idea the same way I just did. You can say exactly the same thing. You can copy and paste it. You can put your voice over mine and just say it to them. How do you square these two ideas? You get an infinite number of clicks, and this guy would retreat into his shell.
No, I'm fairly certain he has something prepared for that.
I doubt
he's
it.
not a dumb guy, and he's gone through this enough times. He's probably rehearsed this. Given if somebody's going to come up to him and present an opposing viewpoint or something to push back.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know.
It may not be as strong as what he's trying to push, but I'm sure of it. He must have something prepared.
Yeah.
People
you don't listen. You don't listen to 40 hours a week like I do.
No.
And one thing that's giving me a little bit of hope is some of the smaller shows are starting to talk about this like we do. Just saying, like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and now he's commenting on knots versus core. Like, I appreciate that he's commenting on knots versus core. I like this about him, but again, like the more he speaks about Bitcoin in a way that can't be rehearsed, the more I think he's sort of technically lacking in what he knows about Bitcoin. And I see in the chat, you should interview and ask him. I have no desire to interview Mike Saylor. If he wants to come on this show, I would be happy to talk to him, but I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to bend the knee. I'm not going to email. You have to go through his PR people. You have to go through MSTR. Like, it's a big ask, and I don't have the time. I got a little one at home, and if someone served him up to me on a platter, I would do it, and it would be a fun interview. But I ain't going to do it by going through all these channels, and just standing here nodding my head to shut my fucking camera off for an hour and let them talk. I'm not going to do that. We don't do that with any guest, by the way, even though we don't challenge all the time directly in a confrontational way. We don't let guests just roll over us. And it seems to me like that's what's happening. I mean, I've gone on this rant before, but whatever.
You said if it goes to 90K with respect to the price of Bitcoin, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It could go to 10K and it'll probably still be fine.
Oh yeah, easily. It could go even lower than that. Like they're basically loaning out 10,000, or they have like 10,000 in liabilities for 600,000 in assets. Basically,
what's a black swan event for them?
It's Saylor dying.
Maybe.
That's it. That's basically the only thing. Short of this thing being made illegal in the United States, like they're basically untouchable.
Let me give you another one.
Okay.
There is some sort of breach in Coinbase and or Fidelity.
Yeah.
That even the smallest amount, it could be even 100,000 sats are stolen from somebody's account in a way that it was within that walled garden of their institutional investments. I think that would be enough for people to say, I can't allow my investment to be tied to this.
Yeah.
And somebody could digitally steal.
We don't have the wallets. So like,
I think that would be the black swan.
Yeah, this is why they don't release the
confidence in the market to be lost. And
that's
you're not wrong. That's the black swan event.
This is why they don't release the wallets, because they can't take that chance. So, we could guess that they lost 100,000, but Coinbase would never tell us. Fidelity would never tell us, and we'd never know. So who knows? Maybe it's already happened for all we know, right? But anyway,
they could be creative in their approach, though. They could.
I'm gonna find that interview, and I want you guys to watch it, because it is honestly insane how small Saylor's fucking hands are. I think it's
fixated on that. I like this.
It's just weird. I used to follow this account on Tumblr back in the day. Tell me if you've heard that before. Called One Tiny Hand, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. It was basically this like set of famous pictures of famous people with one really, really tiny hand. There's the link for people on YouTube and Twitch. I don't know why it doesn't send it anywhere else. What can I say? StreamYard, get it together. But anyway, his hands are very small. Let's do one more story and then we'll move over
It's there.
to
One tiny. It's still there on Tumblr.
Is it? Yeah.
At least it's on Google, and it shows the Trump.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Kim Jong-il.
Yeah.
Obama. What's the current one? Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all Trump and Kim Jong-un. This is another one that obviously. Oh, this is from 2017, so they stopped posting. Too bad. Anyway, yeah.
Stop. All right, you hear about that 12-foot statue that went up of Trump
in Brampton? Oh, of Trump. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
That's Mississauga, buddy. That is the one you're talking about. So it's a 12-foot statue of Donald J. Trump holding like a symbol of a Bitcoin, like that's what it is, a Bitcoin symbol kind of thing.
Stupid.
And it was put outside the U.S. Capitol, and it was put up on September 17th to honor his support for cryptocurrency. The statue, they say, is like a symbolic gesture because the National Park Service, they issued a permit which stated it's recognizing the president's support for cryptocurrency and its role in pushing Bitcoin's value beyond $100,000. This artistic installation aims to ignite discussion in this iconic location. And it's a golden statue. Obviously, it's not made of gold. It's just the outside, the appearance of it. Kind of reminds me of those statues in Pyongyang of Kim Jong-il and
exactly.
Kim Il-sung. Right? Doesn't it? It gave me that exact impression. And so they said this went up on September 17th. The reason why it went up that day was taking advantage of the Federal Reserve rate cut decision, which took place on that day as well. And for people wondering who was behind it, it's shitcoiners that are behind it. It was organized by meme coin enthusiasts that are tied to pump.fun. And that is a meme coin platform. And man, maybe we should put up a statue honoring Shinobi holding a can of spam.
There's not much to say about this. Is there? Like, what can we really say about this?
That we could honor his commitment to the cause of the spam, right? Like that's what we should be doing, right? This is, I don't know. It just seemed odd. It came up all of a sudden in my feed, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" But it's a shitcoiner that's behind it.
Yeah. I have no comment on this. It's like. What, like, why are people doing this? Get off this guy's dick, man. You know, just stop. Find another. You're too online. You've lost context. Get off the internet and go touch some grass before you decide to do something like this.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this guy named NoSphere888 on X. And he released a new script for node runners out there who dislike knots. This is a different spin on things. The script is available on GitHub if you just go to the NOO Sphere888 account, and you can see there's a ban knots release on there. It's a standalone script, and it's used to ban connections from your node to knots nodes. And it could be easily run on Bitcoin, any Bitcoin Core node. And this way, you don't have to connect to nodes that won't relay your valid transactions. This is according to the GitHub notes. It also has full backward compatibility. So if you're using a previous version of Bitcoin Core, this will work for you. And it works for any Bitcoin Core node that has RPC enabled. So if you're trying to connect to your node, like with the Sparrow something, obviously you're going to have this enabled. So you have the option to either ban or just disconnect from those knots nodes. And in order to take action on this, you have to have SSH access to your node, follow the instructions, you're off to the races. I like this stuff. I may not agree with the fact that, you know, banning knots, but I like the fact that people are taking action.
Yeah.
They're making a statement one way or another. I mean, I may not agree with their statements, but the fact that you can make a statement is, I like this. And I just found it to be rather funny. And in a way, I support the fact that they're doing something like this. I like options. I like having people that they could do whatever the fuck they want. Wonderful stuff. I won't run it, but somebody can, and somebody may want to. Wonderful. Give people options.
Welcome to the Bitcoin development community, where there's always a script, no matter what side of the fence you're on. For any argument, someone's got your back. knock them out, knock them down, shut them off, shut them down. Just run the script. It's really that easy. How come we haven't seen more of these, by the way, given that you can just run like a AI program to write you something, presumably with basically no friction? Don't see too much of it.
Good question.
Yeah,
I guess finally somebody came to the conclusion that it's time for us to do something, because up until now you had knots filtering out certain transactions from their mempools, and core nodes are doing nothing. This is a kind of, okay, we're going to do something on our nodes and we'll not connect to you guys, and that way you'll never be able to send your shit over. Like, it's interesting. It's a battle, but you know what? It's a way to make a statement. If you believe in something, you should very well have the ability to broadcast it and do something about it. If you are a pro core guy and you want to have inscriptions and all this shit, all this spam on your node, all the more power to you, man. I may not agree with you, but you have, as long as it's with the consensus of the network.
Yeah.
Go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care.
I think you're right. I'm surprised this is still ongoing. We talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. Like, what's it going to take for this to end? It seems to me like people are against version 30. So, whatever ends up happening there, it'll be either people not upgrading or people running knots or whatever. But it seems to me like that's just V3.0 is not going to take. So I hope that's the end of this discussion for the time being.
Well, no, I think this is another step in this is definitely not the end of this shit. There's going to be many, many more discussions on this topic, especially as Core 30 becomes more mature and ready for release. It's getting close. And once that's released, then there's going to be a lot of discussion and what's the best path forward, how to address it. Is it really something we should be saying that they're compromised? But it's a topic for another time, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about Mayor Ken Sim from Vancouver.
Kenny, friend of the show.
He's pro Bitcoin, right? Like, obviously he's been here, and shitty city from what I understand. Although my perception of Vancouver is different because I've never visited there, but it just seems like such a great city. Either way, blockchain.news was reporting that Vancouver has established a Bitcoin fund for the Vancouver firefighters charities. The majority of that article was horrible. It was written by AI. Terrible article. Anyways, I had to go to CTV for more substance. And apparently what's been created was a fund dedicated to support the mental health of firefighters. And it's been reported that suicide rates amongst firefighters are 30% higher than in the general public. I don't know why that's the case, but
because they're the first people to get to accidents.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, that makes total sense. Yeah, they see the absolute worst. Anyways, so donors so far have given about 3.5 Bitcoin to the fund. Not sure if there was cash converted directly to Bitcoin or not. I'm assuming that's the case. Either way, it's now in BTC. An additional $2.7 million Canadian have been pledged to this fund for mental health. Anyone wishing to donate, they could do so in either fiat or corn. And if you go on the website, vancouverfirefighters.ca, you could do it. I tried it, but I couldn't find a way to do a Bitcoin donation. Either way, I like this. I'm wondering how they're going to be dealing with this as there's fluctuations with the price of Bitcoin. And there's going to be. We're now a year and a half into this cycle. And if you just look at previous cycles, we're in for some interesting times ahead with the price of Bitcoin. And given that, this is for mental health, they want to use the money that's been donated to them. What happens if the price of Bitcoin goes down 30, 40, 50%? Are they going to still remain in Bitcoin? I hope so. Let's stick it out. But let's hope they're Bitcoiners rather than just, traders.
I think, Mayor Sim not only is a Bitcoiner, but also gets it. Talking to him about some of the problems in Vancouver and some of the things he's doing with Bitcoin and other initiatives that he's trying to take, they're unpopular because people don't understand the vision he's got, right? So I expect that this is going to go well. And I think that firefighters are among some of the people who probably have pretty good instincts about stuff like this. They're people who are thinking about their retirement. They're people who are family oriented a lot of the time. And I may be stretching there a bit, but my experience anecdotally, obviously, firefighters like that stuff. Don't forget, Blue Collar Bitcoin was, I think, 2 firefighters, or 1 firefighter and 1 EMS guy. So there's some precedent here. And what do people like more than a suicide prevention fund that grows in value. I can't imagine there's many things,
Well,
and so over
Pablo
time,
writes in the chat.
we want to limit suicide. Maybe exposing people to Bitcoin isn't the best for mental health. You know what? Just give it 4 years. If you can make it 4 years, you'll be fine.
It's just a time horizon. Like, where are they looking at? Is it a long-term outlook, or are they looking at what's my return today, and then tomorrow, what's my return today? And if that's what it is, then it's possible they could just liquidate and go into fiat or buy.
I'm liquidating my assets and going into
fiat,
depreciating currency.
And maybe, well, I would imagine they wouldn't stay in fiat. They'd buy some I don't know, ETF that covers the market or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's do one more story.
Sure.
Fortune, they wrote an article and they were saying that Google, they've released an AI payment protocol that includes support for stablecoins, including partners that are Coinbase and Salesforce. We've talked about them in the past, and I believe on Access of Easy, right?
On Access of Easy, yeah, not
here,
but yeah. Same. Anyways, worlds collide. If you guys are not listening to Access of Easy, you should be, because you will find it useful and also probably funny. So there you go.
So Google, what they're trying to do with this new AI payments protocol is make it easier for AI apps to send and receive money. So gives them an ability to plug into this and send and receive money. And it's an open source protocol. And they say payments could be done with credit cards, debit cards, and stable coins. And, given they're working with Coinbase here and Google, I have no faith in this actually working in the end. I'm looking at the Meta smart glasses as an example. That whole fiasco that took place was awesome to see, but it was terrible for the people running it. I think it's going to be the same thing. Remember, not too long ago, we also had the Federal Reserve talking about that payment initiative or innovation that's going, I think, middle October. So you have that. We have Tether USAT. Now this Google AI protocol for stable-coins. Like, there seems to be a lot of converging things here, right? I'm just wondering what the fuck is going on. Time will tell, but I think there's enough here that we could probably piece things together, right? Right? There's enough things that are just pointing to the same fucking.
Telling you, man. Telling you.
It's interesting.
There's a need for these coins.
There is.
Boomer's pointing out a Kevin Durant story. I don't know if you saw this. Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I did see that.
I
don't know how
top
he can't get
10,
access to it.
Yeah, he locked out. Like, what?
But how? All you have to do is provide the information. Here's my identification. I'll fucking fly over there to show it.
Nothing easy in the world of Coinbase and withdrawals. I think it was Dick Whitman today posted to Coinbase. You can get your coins at any time, provided we have the liquidity. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say these coins were sold a long time ago. They don't have access to it. It was added to the MSTR stack.
What a mess over there at Coinbase.
But reality, like, it's just getting access to an account. How, like, in a sane world, how difficult is this to do?
It depends how old the account is. Probably it depends.
But it's still the same person. It's not like you change.
But they probably have, as they should, some pretty significant hurdles to get over if you haven't accessed the account in 5 years, let's say. Because let's face it, a lot can happen in 5 years. Sure. You could die. You could have a moment of distress. Someone could find your account. Someone could find your wallet. You could be mentally incapacitated. You could be a number of things. That's not my problem. My problem is that, like always with Coinbase, it's a mess until a famous person reaches out and then Brian Armstrong responds directly. What if you weren't famous? What if you just forgot about your coins for 5 years? That's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah.
For somebody like him, and it should not be that difficult. Like I say, for anybody, I don't care if it's a few years old, there's put these barriers. You paid into it, you bought it, you should get access to it. I mean, it should have bought from a non-custodial exchange. But hey, he bought when he bought. And, maybe his face has changed a little bit. Maybe his address may have changed, but his facial features would have remained the same. His name would have remained the same, and he's a big enough name that when he signed up and provided information, you're gonna just go there, knock on the door of Coinbase, and say, "Guys, look, this is me, man." Yeah. And I'm not into sports these days, but I could just Google Kevin Durant and say, "Yeah."
I mean, everybody knows what Kevin Durant looks like. Like he's Yeah, it's not
Like,
hard.
some tall guy comes over, looks like
Yeah.
a former basketball player, right? He's no longer.
No, he's playing.
playing.
He's playing.
Oh,
He's playing.
even worse.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
fuck yeah. They should be like the proverbial slam dunk. And all this is they're shooting air balls. Fuck them.
Thanks
Anyways,
for nothing, Brian. Let's go to the notable news stories. Come back tomorrow if you're on audio. This episode will end here, and then we'll resume tomorrow with the notable stories. If you're on video or with us live on Twitter or X or wherever you're live with us, hang out, man. We ain't going nowhere. Let's get after it. We'll talk to you soon.
don't buy from Coinbase.